What to do, Durag Nation? I got early access to Devil Dinosaur, and he might actually be the strongest tank Marvel Rivals has ever released, right up there with pre-nerf Emma Frost and the tank version of Deadpool. I know exactly what his abilities do, so I can break down all his gameplay and give tips on how to play him so you can hit the ground running this Friday for Marvel Rivals Season 8. First, Hulk smash that hype button to share this guide with more Rivals players, and let's get it. Keep in mind the version of new heroes you see in the trailer will often be a bit different than what we get on launch. But as of right now, Devil Dinosaur seems pretty broken. Devil Dinosaur is a giant T-Rex powered by some technology provided by his best friend Moon Girl, who communicates with him through a special device from a safe distance away from the battlefield, since NetEase cannot legally show a child being harmed with a T14 rating. Devil Dinosaur is a frontline brawl tank with a beefy 850 base HP that bites enemies as his primary attack. But this is where things get crazy. We see him melting Star-Lord and Groot with just his primary because of one of his special abilities. Devil Dinosaur's melee applies bleed, which causes enemies to take constant percentage-based health damage over time. We also see him gaining bonus HP. This is because his other passive allows him to gain bonus health whenever he inflicts bleed onto an enemy. This already gives Devil Dinosaur the strongest neutral of every tank on the roster besides Deadpool. Other Vanguards cannot win this 1v1 without help, purely based on his normal melee and passive, and taking constant percentage based damage also makes it hard for them to fight on the front lines. But it gets even better. That's right, Devil Dinosaur is a frontline brawl anti-tank and also a ranged anti-flyer. His right click fires a huge energy beam with no ammo that runs on an energy meter, like Phoenix's flight skill. Not only does this beam apply bleed, it slows down the target and knocks them down if they are airborne, as we see him do to Human Torch and Iron Man. Devil Dinosaur also has a movement-based attack with his shift, which causes him to dash forward and pounce on an enemy. This attack also applies bleed and is on a short 10-second cooldown. The biggest weaknesses of Vanguards on the Marvel Rivals roster is that most of them weren't designed to handle characters that are far away, so they need to be in harm's way to apply pressure, or are totally helpless if the enemy team has flyers. Tankpool was the only Vanguard on the roster with basically none of the tank weaknesses, until Devil Dinosaur, who unlike Deadpool also has CC in his kit. We see Devil Dinosaur's shift allows him to chase enemies like Phoenix attacking from high ground, and if he's already applied the bleed ability, it has the extra effect to allow the T-Rex to grab them with his jaws and then toss them away. As we see, Phoenix is stunned during this entire animation sequence, including after being thrown, so Devil Dinosaur can CC a target for about 4 seconds while applying percentage-based health damage over time. You could apply this to enemy tanks to hold them in place while your team attacks them, and is great to use against dive heroes like Venom and Daredevil when they threaten your supports. He can also 1v1 Phoenix here because of another passive. He takes reduced damage from headshots similar to Jeff. But it gets crazier. They also gave Devil Dinosaur a shield. Devil Dinosaur can use the heart-shaped device he got from Moon Girl to summon a giant dome shield, like Deadpool's unicorn bubble, except much bigger. The shield has 450 health, which as a reference has 100 more HP than Captain America's shield, but protects you and your team from every angle. It's also on a reasonable 12-second cooldown, same as Cloak and Dagger's bubble and fade. So Devil Dinosaur is not just a brawler on the front, he can protect your team with a shield, and if you're an advanced player, you can summon the shield while fighting in the enemy tank's face in order to block them from getting healed and slowing them down while you and your team apply damage. His passive also has CC immunity to launch, knockback, and displacement effects, so Thor cannot push him around and instead gets bullied. But this other Devil Dinosaur ability takes him to another level. His F causes him to do a fast series of bite attacks that convert the damage he applies to bonus health, as we see Devil Dinosaur go from 427 HP to more than 1100 HP in only a few seconds of attacking Magneto and Emma while melting them because you apply bonus damage if they're under bleed. 1100 HP is outrageous and is only 300 HP less than Monster Hulk, and he can get that just from attacking, making Devil Dinosaur potentially unbeatable in a 1v1, even against Wolverine. As a bonus, we see him use the shield to block Iron Man's ultimate. Speaking of ultimates, Devil Dinos is pretty interesting. Instead of a massive CC ult like Stranger Groot, this is more like Monster Hulk, where you rampage through the enemy team. Devil Dinosaur immediately gains 400 bonus health, taking him to 1250 HP. Then he gets a huge boost in movement speed while stomping through the battlefield, which causes enemies hit by it to be launched up and bleed. He also sends out roars that slow enemies down when they're hit by the waves. He has access to all his abilities while this is active, and we see how strong this is when he grabs Hulk and throws him off the map while blocking the enemy from attacking him or healing the Hulk with that Moon Girl shield. Then he rushes down the rest of the team, tearing through them with stomps and bleed damage. I think the best way to play Devil Dinosaur in most scenarios is to start the fight spraying the beam across the enemy to apply as much bleed as possible, then directly attacking the enemy tanks with your melee, using the shield to block their heals when you get close, and combining it with your F to do burst damage and gain a ton of HP. Once the tanks are out of the way, lead your team directly to the enemy healers, which you can do with your shift to leap on one of them and apply 4 seconds of stun to cut off the healing. His team up is with Punisher, and I'm personally not a fan. I think tanks should have powerful team ups with other tanks to encourage more people to play the role. It's an okay team up with potentially one OP use case. It's basically the Rocket and Groot team up. Punisher rides on Devil Dino's back and can only use his 2 guns and smoke grenade. Punisher gains damage reduction, and Devil Dinosaur absorbs a portion of the damage and healing Punisher receives. The best use I can see for this team up is rushing down the enemy with shotgun, since the biggest weakness of Shotgun Punisher is that he has no defenses. Now he has 2 different forms of damage reduction and a 450 HP shield. I'm calling it now, Devil Dinosaur is the best tank in the game on day one. Extremely powerful, a lot of utility, and not that hard to use. Let me know what you think in the comment section. But Marvel Rivals Season 8 isn't all you have to look forward to. There are several upcoming superhero games about to be revealed for the first time that could change everything. Click the video on screen to learn more. And a huge shout out to everyone supporting me on Patreon. Join for free so you never miss an update.